welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany, and today I'll be going over my magical readathon spring equinox TBR.
It's Brittany, bitch.
If you're not already aware of Magical Readathon, go check out G's videos. I'll have them linked down below. But for the spring equinox, you basically get to choose what career you would like to have. And I am going to be a Dreamwalker. It is part of my Mind Walker guild, and I'm able to choose Dreamwalker as one of my careers, or I guess my career path. So because of that, I have 7 different prompts, and I have to have 7 different books to cover every single prompt. And then when it comes time in August, I believe for the fall equinox, I will have different prompts from that as well, based off of my Dreamwalker career. If you have any questions about anything, go check out her videos down below. She fully explains it. She also has a link to her G Drive where she has every single piece of information about this whole magical readathon, or the prompts, etc. So I need to take Astronomy, which is the basics with comets and asteroids. And the prompt for this is whatever is at the top of your TBR. And for that, for me, is A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. Is the 3rd book in the the Fire and Ice series, the famous Game of Thrones series. You know what the fuck I'm talking about, okay? Is that series, and it's the 3rd one, and I've only ever read the 1st and the 2nd book, and they're incredibly long. I have reread the 1st book twice, but I decided to finally continue on a little bit in a series. I haven't really wanted to continue on with the series because he hasn't finished it yet, and I really don't like starting series that aren't finished, especially because I'm pretty invested in the story. I've obviously already seen the Game of Thrones TV show multiple times, but obviously the book's a little bit different than the TV show, so this is the top of my TBR. I'm just really feeling like his version of a high fantasy right now. I'm really just feeling that universe, and I have the audiobook for this, and I also have the ebook for this, so I'm hoping I can finish this very large, 1,000-page book in just a few days. The next class I need to take is Alchemy, and for this, we're studying the Potion of Infatuation, so I need a book featuring romance. And surprisingly, I chose a book that is not a romance novel, but it has a romance, apparently. And that book is The Death of Vivek Oji. I've heard that has some romance in it. Basically, the whole premise is we start from the ending and work our way back to the beginning of Vivek's life, because Vivek shows up dead at his mother's doorstep, and we work our way back through time to see kind of what happened, is my understanding of this. This is a beautiful, literary fiction, and I know there's a little bit of romance in there, and that's just kind of what I'm expecting from it, but I'm kind of going into it as blind as I can, but I know a lot of people love this book, and I also have this one on audio as well as in the flesh. So I'm hoping I can finish this one probably in a day or two, and I obviously picked books I'm really excited to read, and this is definitely one of them, so the fact that it fit a prompt worked out perfect. The next class that I need to take is Art of Illusion. And we're studying the mirror image, so I need a book with a trope that I like. And for this, I chose Ice Planet Barbarians because this has the mating trope, and I love fated mate tropes. I think it's just a really beautiful idea. I really wish humans were like that. It'd be really cool if something in our chest purred and let us know that the person in front of us is the person we're supposed to be with forever. It just makes sense. And anyway, Ice Planet Barbarians is basically blue alien smut, and I'm really looking forward to it. I love a good smut every now and then, and I've heard really good things about it, and I do know that there is sexual assault in the first 10%, so I'm going to go into it knowing that, and I'm going to give it a shot. But I really love the idea of these women crash landing on a planet. They were obviously assaulted by the green aliens on the spaceship, and then when they land on this ice planet, there are alien barbarians who are not doing the assaulting. So she'll make that very clear. And then she meets her fated mate, and that's all we know. And I'm really excited to get into this one. I'll probably attempt this one 1st or 2nd because it's a 5-hour audiobook, and I only have the audiobook version. So to me, it just makes more sense to kind of knock it out of the park, especially because it's such a short book, and I'm hoping that I'll just really enjoy this one. The next class I need to take is Spells and Incantations. So we're focusing on an anti-gravity spell. And for this, I need short stories or essays. And this was a really hard one to choose because I do not really like short stories or essays. They're not usually my jam, especially essays, not really my thing, but I found a book that I think will work for this. So for this, I chose Upstream by Mary Oliver, and Mary Oliver is a very famous poet, and I studied her in college. My poetry teacher is not really a biggest fan of her. He thinks she's a little too Pollyanna. And for that, I will agree. She talks a lot about nature and Mother Nature and the beauty of our world on a lighter note, on a more uplifting and heartwarming note. So I chose Upstream, which I believe is just a whole bunch of different nature essays / of her poems. I don't really know. That's what I saw online. That's what I saw suggested. That's what I saw suggested. So I'm gonna give this one a try for this, and I'm kind of glad I at least found something that wasn't, I think, really triggering at the moment. I just really wanted something happy and relaxing and a little naturey, so this just kind of works out. The next class I need to take is Psionics and Divinations. and we'll be studying Clairsentience. So we need a book set in the future, and for this I chose Parasite by Mira Grant. And Mira Grant is a pseudonym for Sean McGuire, and basically this book is about how we've like altered viruses and parasites and things to like symbiotically help the human body, but I guess this one like years in the future mutates and takes over or something. I really don't know too much about things. You kind of notice that about my books. I don't always know a whole lot because I put them on my TBR like years ago, and then I finally am like, oh, that sounds really good. Let me just reapproach this, because I kind of like to forget what they're about and just kind of go into things as blind as possible. This is one of those books I don't really know. It's scientific. It sounds like a fun ass time. I only have the audio for this, so I'm hoping I can finish this at work someday next week. The next class I need to take is Conjuration, or Conjuring of Light. So you need to have a light source on the cover. And for that, I chose Woman of Light, which is an arc that I received from NetGalley. It does not come out until June something of this year. So I'm really sorry about that, but it's getting a little bit closer. Obviously, it's only like 2 months away for you to wait, or you can pre-order it. So Woman of Light, as far as I know, is about Luce, and we're following her on this journey in like the 1930s in Denver. I'm not really sure exactly what happens, but basically something happens to her family, and she kind of gets these visions about something that happened to her indigenous people. I don't really know the whole story. I'm kind of, again, going to go into as blind as possible. I read the synopsis and then immediately requested from NetGalley. So I'm really excited for this one. And the light source in the cover, not only is it in the name, but it's also the rising sun. And my last class is lore. So I need something about myths most known or mythology inspired. And I was not excited for this prompt at all. I was kind of upset. I really wasn't planning on reading anything like too serious about mythology. But then I remembered on my 2022 TBR, Neon Gods by Katie Robert. So this is like a Hades and Persephone retelling smut story. I don't know how smutty it is, but I know that Katie Robert is well known for her smut. She writes like Disney smut and stuff as well. So I'm really excited to get into this one. And of course it's mythology inspired. So it felt perfectly. I believe it's just the original mythology just told a little smutty. So I'm really looking forward to this one as well. I'm going to probably pair up some of these books to make different reading vlogs that are kind of like the same kind of thing. Like Ice Planet Barbarians and obviously Neon Gods are like a good mixture of like smutty romance books, right? But some of them are going to be kind of harder to like categorize. So I'm not really sure what to do with all the reading vlogs this month, but I do have some reading vlogs that are scheduled that are not readathon related. So I will let you know, obviously, when I do that reading vlog, if it is readathon inspired or created, but I do have a couple of different videos, I believe, that are planned for April that are not readathon linked. So keep that in mind. And those are all the books that I have to read for this month. I also will be having a separate TBR come out a little bit later at the end of this month for Spring-A-Ween-a-thon or whatever it's called. Spring-A-Ween, what is it called? I don't know. It's the one with Gabby and Olivia Reads a Latte. So it is like the Summer-Ween, little Spring-A-Ween-a-thon. So I'm going to read 2 different books for that as well. And that starts on April 27th. So I need to finish all of these books before that time to start my next TBR and my next readathon. So look for that. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys a lot later, and hopefully I have a lot of good videos coming up. Peace out. Bye.